Hey everybody, this is Sam B, also known as Smurfette09 on Instagram. I'm here to share with you guys a video tutorial on a Popple, which was an 80s character. It actually started out as a toy and then slowly turned into a cartoon. These are all the ones I've made so far. I think there essentially is 9 main characters, but I am unable to make 2 of them because I do not have the right color pink. But we have Pretty, PC, Party, Putter, Puzzle, and Pancake, and the one I'm going to show you guys to make today is going to be this one, which this is Puffball. My daughter wants one, and so I'm just going to redo this one for her. To give you guys a warning, my design does use 2 looms. If you do not have 2 looms, I would advise you to follow the link that I will include in this tutorial that will take you to Marloom's Creations Care Bear, because she has a way to do the stomach where you don't need 2 looms for it, but this design I'm going to be using 2. To give you guys a heads up, I have 2 rainbow looms and I have 3 twisted loops. So I will be using the rainbow loom for the extra pieces of my Popple, and I will be using my twisted loop for the body. So just so you guys have a heads up. I already have one arm on my loom, and I've already made one ear. I'm going to make the other one on here to show you guys how to do it, but to save some time, I'm going to show you how to do one arm and one ear instead of doing both. I have my rainbow looms in a squared off position. We're only going to use this last 3 rows. If you look, Popples have 2 different color ears. I've already made the blue one. I'm going to show you guys how I made the other one in the pink. With your rainbow loom, I find it easier working from the side, because this is how I did it. You can probably do it up and down, but I haven't tried it. Working from the side to work with it with your arrow pointing to the left. You're going to find your center peg right here at the bottom, and we're going to put two bands of your ear color from here to here. Now this design, until I get to the capping bands, all these are two bands on each peg until we get to the capping bands. So then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go straight up. That had twisted, so we just want to straighten it out. I really picked an awful one to show you guys because some of the bands that I have that I use in this one just are not that great. Okay, so we went straight up on both sides. Now we're going to take it back to the center. Yeah, these bands I'm not a fan of, and then the ones that I did, the blue ear that I showed you that was already sitting on this loom, not a huge fan of those bands either. Okay, so we have our basic design on the loom. If you can see, it is heart-shaped. So now we just need our capping bands. You want to locate your center row of this. We're going to take a single band. We're going to loop it back upon itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to stretch it across. I'm not editing that. Actually, I don't edit my videos. I just let them go. So mistakes and all, you guys get to see me fix those. Okay, when I stretched it across, notice I pulled it underneath this center peg. We're going to do the same thing, except we're going to put the band on top of this one. So there we go, just like that. So see, you've got one underneath and one over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch a band across these two pegs, and we're going to wrap it around 3 times. Just like that. Now you do want to have a spare band of that color setting off to the side. When we loop, we're going to loop a heart shape. Actually, what I do is I go back and forth, but I mean, if you want to do one side and then the other, whatever works for you. Our first band that we're going to grab is this one. We're going to loop it from this peg to this peg, in which, if you have it squared off with your pegs facing to the left, I think it makes it easier to grab that first band. Otherwise, it's buried over here and it's hard to get in there. So yeah, that's why I recommend starting off there, because this one, the one that goes from here to here, you've pulled some bands out of the way, so it makes it really easy to get in there and get that one. Alright. Sometimes I'll roll my hook around the peg to kind of loosen up the bands when they feel like they're really snug, because I don't want anything to snap. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab this band in here. We're going to loop it forward. And you can see that it's stuck right there. So again, I'm just going to roll my hook around, and then it's going to let that band slide forward. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Then we're going to reach in here and we're going to reach in here and we're going to grab this. Did not go underneath everything. There we go. I'm going to hold this with my hand, and I'm going to stick my hook back in there because it's a further stretch, and I do not want to snap these because rethreading is never fun. So there we go. These bands stick to each other, and it drives me bonkers, so. But whatever I can do to avoid snapping bands. Alright, so then we're going to stick our hook inside this peg. We're going to grab those and see, I just snapped a band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my hook I'm just going to do it that way. Okay. Probably not the best way to do that, but hey, that's how that works, so that's how we're going to roll with it. There we go. Now it's on there. What we do is I just roll it around in there to make sure it goes to the bottom, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick my hook back through, grab just that bottom band, maybe not. Repeat, so we're just going to loosen that up enough where I can take that and pull that forward. There we go, just like that. So there's that. Like I said, I do not like these bands. I picked a horrible one to do, but the one my daughter wants, so we're going to work with that. Then you're going to just take that single band that I told you to set off to the side, and we're going to pull that up through the center. You're going to put it on your hook, and you're just going to hold it onto there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this off the loom. And these are very snug. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of stretch our little design out just a little, just like that. Kind of give it a little bit more of a heart shape. And then, like I said, I have a couple of looms, so what I do is I usually just put my spare extremities on the end of it. Just like that. Okay, I have one arm on the loom. I'm actually going to not hurry up, but I'm going to show you guys the other arm real quick. We have to go down 4, and with Puffball, her arms are white, and then she has pink paws. Some of them have different color paws, like they'll have red and blue, or green and blue, or pink and red, so, but Puffball doesn't. All 4 of hers are the same. So just like I did here, we're going to put a capping band right here, and we're going to wrap this around 4 times. And like I said, she has a pink paw, so that's why we did it that way. Now I'm going to do the tail. You want to take your body color, and Puffball's white, so I'm going to take her body color. I'm going to take a single band, I'm going to loop it back upon itself, and I'm going to place it there. And then her tail is orange. So you need 5 bands of your actual tail color. And these are just going to be singles. So I'm going to go down 5. Just like that. And then they have puffballs on the end of their tails. And for Puffball, hers is yellow and blue. So I'm going to take a yellow band, I'm going to loop it back upon itself just like that, and we're going to place that on the loom. I'm going to do the same thing again. And then I'm going to take a single blue band, and I'm going to wrap this around 4 times. And then I'm just going to quickly loop all these. I'm sorry if I go off camera. I don't mean to. And then I'm going to leave actually everything on this loom, and I'm just going to set this loom off to the side, and I'll pull it out when I need it. Okay, now I'm going to break out my loom, and I'm going to put the body on. Like I said, I use the twist and loop for this, because I feel that the twist and loop has more stability when you go wide than the rainbow loom does. This is how I have it set up. I have the first 2 rows and the last 2 rows the same, and then the center row is just staggered up one peg. So that's how I have it set up. Popples have hair, so whatever color hair your popple has, you want to take a single band and place that on that center peg at the top of your loom. And then you want to take your body color, and we're going to start at the center peg, and we're going to go out to the left. Maybe not. Okay, let's try that again. We're going to go out to the left, out to the right. Then we're going to go down 2 rows on each side of that. So 1, 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to turn it into the center for that third one. So 2. Then we're going to go down the center. Okay, that's your popple's head. Every good creature needs a neck. So there we go. And then from here are your shoulders. So you're going to go out to the left at an angle, now to the right at an angle. Pay attention to these pegs. These are your shoulders. We will come back to these. Now we're going to go out to an angle again, to the left and to the right. And we're going to go down 2 on each side. And then we're going to turn it inside at an angle on both sides. And then here, this is where it gets fun, because you see the center peg that's slightly above these ones? That's where we're going. Just like that. Now these 2, because this now looks like a little arrow pointing down for each of those 2 spots, that's where our legs go. So we're going to go down 4 rows with bands. And I don't know if I meant to say it, but all these bands are double banded. Every single one of them. I probably did miss that. These are the legs. Okay. They have paws on their legs too. Puffballs are pink. So I'm just going to take a single pink band and I'm going to wrap this around 4 times. We're going to do that over here as well. Alright. Now we need to fill in her stomach, which she has a dark blue stomach. So I'm going to use the dark blue bands that I don't like, but I'm going to use them so I can get rid of them. And we're just filling in the middle. We started at the neck and the shoulders and we're going down. And you're going to go down 4 on each side, or on each row. Okay, so then your belly is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my other loom real quick, because I'm going to pull off an arm. We're going to come over here to the shoulder, or that part I told you we were going to come back to. And we're going to put his arm, well, her arm really, on her shoulder. Then we're going to pull off the other one. And we're going to place it on there. Now, for the tail, I will advise if you take this off to keep your hook in there. Because that's just a single band that's doubled over. It's very snug and it likes to slide off. So, but this center one between the legs, we're gonna put that on. I think I missed a loop. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is, what I do is you don't have to, but I take this next band and I stretch it over that peg just to keep the tail out of the way, because the tail does like to bunch up. And then, so I don't forget, we're going to place our capping bands on the belly. You're going to basically, this row, you see these 4 are aligned, we're just going to include that one in the capping band, and it's the row right above where our legs are. And we're going to do this 3 times across the middle. So we're going to go up to the next row, and then 1 more above that, just like that. Now while I have my other loom out, we're going to place our ears. These top 2 corner ones are where our ears go. So I just take them off the loom and then I just stretch them over. I just let part of that slip out of my hand, so I just threaded them onto my hook. Nothing fancy. I lost one. And then we're ready to deal with the face. For the face, most of the Popples have blue or green eyes, but I only have blue beads, so that's actually what I've been using. And then for that, what I do is I take a single E-bead and I thread it onto a piece of dental floss, and then we're just going to thread that back through the bead so we can pull it onto a band. We're going to do that again. Oops, lost hold of my bead. Just like that. And then what we're going to do, so you're going to take it and we're going to wrap it around. That did not work well. Okay, let's try this again. We're going to take it, we're going to wrap it around our hook once. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So then it sits just like that. We're going to do the same thing over here with this one, keeping both of them on our hooks at the same time. I learned this technique from Loom Creations. And then we're going to take 2 bands of our face color, which again, since Puffball is white, she's using white bands. And I really am the worst person in the world at doing this. If you can see, okay, you saw that I threaded one set on there, so I'm going to see that set's on there. So I'm going to actually take this other one off camera real quick, and I'm going to do it to save some time and agony. Okay, so see, they're both on the same one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my loom over here, and this peg below, the next set pegs down from where we placed our ears, is where we're going to stretch our eyeballs across. Just like that. Then we're going to play a quick game of divide and conquer. And then we're going to take it and we're going to stretch it over the top. So just like that. Now for the face, what I do is I use these rounded pony beads that originally I found at Michael's, and I have not been able to find them since until recently, where I found them at my local Meijer. I love them. From Meijer, they're just called acrylic beads, but I also found a website that sells them. To me, this just makes the best nose and cheeks. You can do it with bands. That's actually how I originally did it, but I like the way that this looks much better. So if you don't have these, just play around with what you got, and I'm sure you can make something work. If you do make your own and you do something completely different, I am really intrigued to see it. So if you have Instagram, just tag me, Smurfette09. It's SMURFETE09. So I'm just going to thread these onto 2 face bands, which Puffball is white, so that's why we keep using those. And every Popple has like a slightly different color face, so that may change what beads I've used. Like there's some that are white and pink, there's some I've used that are, you know, yellow and white. I've used an array. Okay, now this is what I'm going to suggest. Get your finger in one end. Do not take off your dental floss until you have these on your loom. Because with 3 of them on there, it is a snug fit. And we're going to go down to the row below where our eyes are. So the next peg down. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to take that and pop that up above. And then what I do is I just make sure that the nose sits on top of that peg. So that's our face. And now we are ready to loop. We're going to do the legs first. And then from here, we're just going to go up and do the belly. Make sure if you have a capping band, you're going underneath your capping band. Okay. Then we're going to go to this peg right here. And we're going to reach inside and we're going to grab this band and we're going to loop it back over to here because that's our top one. So just like that. And we're going to do the same thing with the next one down. And then all I'm going to do is loop up the outsides. Sorry, I have to pull this off camera so that you guys can't see for a quick second because I can't see the bottom of the bands. Okay. Oop, oop, oop. I grabbed one too many. Actually, I grabbed way too many. Okay, so what I'm going to do, since they're still hooked to that one, I'm going to stick my peg down inside, or my hook down inside. we're just going to pull them over. There we go, just like that. And again, not editing it out because that's real life. I make mistakes rather often actually. And once upon a time, if I did mess up, I would just pull the entire thing back off the loom because I messed up instead of, actively, and I would just get more and more frustrated. And eventually I learned that you have to learn how to fix it because mistakes are gonna happen. This peg is a fun one. Because there's so many bands on this. So excuse me, I'm gonna pull this off camera real quick because the angle that I'm working at makes it a little difficult. And then sure, most of you are probably already done looping. Like, I'm ready for the next step. Jeez, girl. I'm a slow looper. I have issues. Actually, more so I have issues when I'm doing this on camera because I'm at odd angles. And trying to do this where everybody can see it is not always the easiest. Alright, so when you get to the neck, then you just loop up to the neck. When I do the face, I do the entire middle first. I only grabbed one band that first time. Just like that. Now, when you loop this next peg, you want to make sure that your nose stays in the middle. And then we're going to go back. Do that. That. And when you loop the sides, do not loop the band that you had for your nose or your eyes. You're going to go underneath those. The same thing when you get up to your ears. You're not looping those, you're just looping the other bands. So those are basically like capping bands, so you're just going to pull those back. Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to flip the camera. And then this is our last one. And then you're done with your looping. Now, this single band that's right here, that's our hair, you're just gonna put it through, put your hook through the center peg, grab that single band, and we're just going to do that. Now, you need 4 more of those bands. Because what we're going to do you guys are going to watch me fail to grab that thing like 5 times. goodness. There we go. Actually, I'm gonna look at something real quick. Hold on. Okay. Sorry. My first slip knot was uncooperative, and I found out why. It was stuck. Ignore that. Okay, this is our last one. We're just gonna pull this one through, just like that. Alright. So then you have 5 bands right there. And then you're ready to pull your popple off the loom. Most people use the back of their hook. I use the actual hook just because the back of my hook tends to get caught. And then I end up pulling stuff that I don't want to pull. So I just decided this is, if I do it this way, it's easier to slide my hook out than it is if it's the back of my hook. Okay. Now, this side does not look so good because the shoulders show through. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull and stretch a little bit, because on this side it generally doesn't show through like that, but hey, we're going to work with it. I'm going to push the face through to this side. I'm going to take its tail, and I'm going to open up some bands on the side to pull her tail through. I'm going to take a red Sharpie, and I'm going to doodle a nose on there. And then I'm going to take a pair of scissors. I'm going to gather all these bands, and I'm just going to give her a little haircut. And there you have Party Popple. No, I lied. Now you have Puffball. Puffball Popple. Alright. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you like it, please subscribe. And if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. Again, my name on there is Smurfette09. That's SMURFETE09. And thank you.